Hello, my name is Kent Odor, and I've been on the White Oak staff since 2018. Today in our reading, Jesus is making his way toward Jerusalem for the last time before his crucifixion. The text today is Luke 18:31 through Luke 19, verse 10. Jesus knows that the conversations he is having with his disciples will be some of his last words with him. He begins the conversation of this day by declaring to them his path forward. They are going to Jerusalem. His death is imminent, and on the third day he will rise from the dead. Luke records briefly the effect of these statements on the disciples with this explanation. Quote, "They did not know what he was talking about." Verse 34, end quote. I encourage you to read today's verses and reflect on the situation. How would you have responded if you had heard him say that after being with him for 3 years? From biblical scholars and other gospel texts, it is thought that Jesus has been with his disciples in a desert-like location for a little while, perhaps resting. This was all since his last visit to the temple. Knowing that the feast of Passover was coming in a week, Jesus appears determined that he would like to travel to Jerusalem through Jericho to be part of the group that would traditionally gather in a procession there and walk and worship along the way as it moved upward toward Jerusalem for the feast. Some of the songs they would sing are from the Psalms 120 to 134. They're called the Songs of Ascent. On the way into Jericho, Jesus gives a beggar his sight, and the crowd gathering around him is witness to the miracle. Unlike previous healings, Jesus did not give any instructions to hold back his testimony, and the text says, "When all the people saw it, they also praised God." Verse 43. In Jericho, Jesus encounters a tax collector named Zacchaeus. The Bible story has been told to me in Sunday school since I was a child. The story about the wee little man. There's a song that accompanies with these words, "Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he." The biblical account in today's reading has a few details that are unusual in every way in the culture of that day. First, Jesus walked through the crowd, saw the man, and named him, and called him out of the tree where he was perched to be able to see Jesus walk by. He yelled out his name, Zacchaeus. Secondly, Jesus invited himself over to Zacchaeus' home for dinner. That's unusual. And third, Zacchaeus stood up in the banquet and gave an unsolicited testimony of repentance and restoration that seemed to amaze everyone, including Jesus. It was Jesus' reply that is the focus of my thought today in chapter 19, in verses 9 and 10. Verse 9. Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost." What is this passage saying? Well, it's saying two things. First, that Zacchaeus was indeed valuable to God. In Jericho, he was seen by the Jews as a traitor and a thief. He was a Jew who now worked through the Romans, exercising taxes from the citizens and the merchants who traveled through. He was demonstratively wealthy, so it was assumed that he was a thief. He was accused of always charging too much. To the Jews, he was considered to be a sinner and unclean. He was not worthy of being in the presence of Jesus, but in this situation, he was publicly demonstrating his repentance with the generosity of his wealth and his desire to be a disciple of Jesus. Jesus said, "This man too is a son of Abraham." Secondly, Jesus declared a restatement of his personal purpose on being on earth. He was here to seek and save that which was lost. What does this passage mean? Well, at the beginning of Jesus' ministry in chapter 4, He stated while in the synagogue in Nazareth after reading the text, he said this, "Today, this is fulfilled in your hearing." That's chapter 4, verse 21. Jesus' mission on earth was always about redeeming and restoring lost people. Those who were far from a relationship with God were the bullseye of his mission. Now he is 1 week away from the cross. He is stating again for all of us, seeking and saving the lost is what he was and is all about. What does this passage tell me about God? It tells me that God's passion is for the restoration of lost men and women. Everyone matters to him. He truly is a God of love. He came to actively seek and save us who are lost. This is what the message of Jesus' life is all about. What does this passage tell me about people? It tells me all people matter. Blind beggars matter. Crowds that watch matter. And men who have made unacceptable choices that have separated and segregated them from society, they matter. People matter to God. How should I live my life based on what I've read today? I need to look at my life and check and see what I am all about. Why am I here? As a disciple of Jesus, have I embraced his mission? Seeking and saving the lost matter to him. They matter to God. I want them to matter to me too. What about you?